Thank you for tuning in to Interview with DJ Nocturna. If you're watching on my YouTube channel, please like, subscribe, share, and comment if you like this video. Well, my guest, I'm speaking with electronic musician, producer, and drummer, Rona Rougeheart from SINE.
Yes.
Yay.
Hi there.
Thank you
Thank
for
you so
joining
much
me.
for having me.
Yeah, it's such an honor to have you. Been wanting to do this for a while. We met, if you recall, back in right before the pandemic hit, big time.
hmm
Right at
Yeah.
we were the Clan of Zymlocks concert in the chapel in San Francisco. This was like in I think in March 2020.
Yes, because that's when everything just shut down. Right after
I
that, we went
know.
back to Texas and it was over.
I know that was an amazing time. I was like thinking when I was flying up to San Francisco, 'cause I went there for that, and to visit family and friends. But I remember going up there and I was saying, "Oh my gosh, there's some kind of flu it hit Italy really big time," and I was like saying, "Oh my God, but that concert, I gotta go." And
Yeah.
I said, "But oh my God, it's a concert. What if everybody gets sick?" But I'm glad I went because then I met you and of course Curse, who was in support of the show as well as with uh Bellwether
Bellwether
was the
Syndicate.
syndicate were
Yes.
there, the
hmm
twin tribes was playing, and then you were there. So that's where we met.
Yep.
It was such a great time. And I'm glad I went because after that everything shut down and I couldn't go anywhere for a year. So
Yeah, I know. It was actually very nice that we got to do part of that tour,
mhm.
with Curse. And Curse says hello, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Shout out to him.
and uh, but yeah, I mean, I'm just glad that we got to do part of the tour before it got shut down.
I know.
So,
Yeah, that
and it
was
was it was a very important time because I think we all needed that, not knowing we needed it, you know?
oh yeah.
So,
Well, I'm so glad to have you on the show because you've been busy too. You recorded an album, you released it, and I've been wanting to get this before during that time when you released it. I know it was like when was it? Last year, late last year.
yep.
But I wanted to talk a little bit, and I love your website. I love websites that have everything in it.
Oh,
It's
yes.
great. It's so complete, and then I didn't even know some of the things about what I'm looking at, and you're multi-talented in so many levels.
Oh, thank
Um,
you.
but let's talk about your background. I know you're a drummer originally, right?
That's
Um,
right.
I think I don't know, your family was musically gifted. I think with
Yeah,
your
my
dad.
my father was a musician. I mean, not professional musician, but yeah, his
Yeah,
family definitely had the musical bug, and I caught it. I
yeah.
guess I shouldn't say
You inherited
that.
the gifted talent of the musician. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you start out with drumming? At a
You
very
know,
early age?
uh, I I never really thought about going in and playing drums or anything. It wasn't the first thing that I was gravitating towards when I was making music. It was keyboards because my dad was a keyboard player and a guitar
Mhm.
player. So that was kind of like the first thing that I learned. But it wasn't until well, first of all, as a child, we did dance classes. So we're always, involved in some sort of movement. And I was already a music fan from the start because my dad uh, exposed us to music and rock and roll and stuff. So I don't know. I guess it was kind of like the one instrument I hadn't tried yet,
Yeah.
and decided to try and get some lessons and see how I felt about it. And I love it. It's a lot of fun because it's very much like dancing. I love beats and rhythms,
Oh yeah.
so it feels good. It's really fun, and just really gravitated towards it.
I know. Well, drummers are definitely special because without a drum, I mean, they give the beat, the music, and I mean
Yeah,
every instrument does something, but drums especially. So you started Sign in 2016.
that's right.
Yeah. So how did that? Tell us about what is that? Where'd you get the name from?
The
Sign.
the name the name actually just came to me one day when I woke up in the morning. I just saw the word sign in all caps in my brain, and I thought, oh, that's great.
It's like
And
it was a sign.
yeah, it really was. I mean, to sound funny, it's true. But before that, I had been thinking about, like, I'm a fan of Garbage and I'm a big fan of the band Curve. So it's like garbage
Oh,
curve, you know, I wanted one word that could describe what I was doing. And so sign seemed really the perfect word. And seeing it in all capital letters, it just has a good presence and I like it. So
yeah, it's definitely unique. And I know like you released some albums, and then in 2019 we actually opened up for Peter Murphy.
yes,
Yeah, and
that was
that's a big
amazing.
deal. Yeah, that
It
was
was a huge deal for me.
yeah, I remember that. I actually talked to Curse right after that, I think. Yeah, we did an
Yeah,
interview, and
yeah,
he did mention that, and we talked a little bit about it. I know it's in the video somewhere. So if anybody want to check out that video, I mean, the interview with Curse is on my podcast. This is before I did the YouTube channel. But he talked about that, and I know it was the 40th anniversary of Bauhaus Ruby Tour or something like that.
yep, that is
And
correct.
it was unfortunate that Peter got sick. So luckily, Curse jumped in, and
Yeah,
well, that was the
yeah.
same. That's the same night, right? That's the same
That
concert.
is the same
Yeah. Okay.
night. Yeah. So what happened was I got booked as Sign to open the show, and you know, everything was kind of going as usual, and we really were hoping that Peter would show up because it was the second makeup day, so he
Mm-hmm.
had already canceled on the crowd before.
Yeah.
So it got a little shaky when he didn't show up for the VIP meet and greet, and so we weren't totally sure. But I
Yeah.
still played my set, and everything was a go. And it wasn't until after I finished my set that I was about to break my gear down, because that's the first thing you do. You get out of the way. And so Curse came running over to me, and he's like, "No, just don't break your gear down, and you know, don't make any kind of expressions, but just come with me because Peter's not coming, and we're going to do this performance with David J in the band." So that's pretty much what happened. And David J was the one that recruited Curse and I to do this, because he had, you know, it
Mm-hmm.
was hard for him and the band to have a second make a cancellation date, and you know, the crowd was really upset. So he decided he wanted to make something of the night, and we did. And so yeah, we were recruited, and
Mm-hmm.
he had us on stage, you know, together. And sometimes he would have Curse on, and me and by myself. So
And you
yeah.
guys performed together, right? You and Curse on your song "Drugs." Was that the same?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
yes,
Yeah.
that is the same night. And
Mhm.
funny enough, I think it was like probably the first time we performed that together.
Yeah. Well,
So
what a perfect time and venue.
well, yeah, because
Yeah.
I mean, David J got to see us perform together, so he thought, oh, I'll take them both.
You know, David was just here in Hawaii.
Yeah,
I don't know
that's
if you saw some
right.
pictures. Yeah. I was so
You
like,
guys hung out for a bit, right?
yeah. He said,
Oh,
"Hey, I'm here in Hawaii," and I'm like,
yeah.
"Wow, what?" I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
it was so
Oh, how
amazing.
fun.
Yeah,
I
I
love
know.
that.
Have you been here?
He's awesome. Ah, you know, when I was a
Okay.
kid,
Oh,
my
okay. Well, at
parents,
least
that
you
doesn't
have.
count.
You know, a lot of people I interview, they always say, "No, I never been there," and I go, "What?" And then I'm like,
Oh man, I want to go back as an adult. And Kirsten and I talked about going, so
"Yeah, you
uh,
should."
I would love to. But yeah, it's been since I was a kid, you know. So I was, you know, when you're with your parents in a place, it's just different. You don't get to do
Yeah, you know,
the
I always
fun
like
things you do as an
surprises. I always like surprises when I get a message on the text saying, "Hey, I'm here." Huh?
adult. Yeah, that's
That's
so
awesome.
fun. Yeah, but we'll definitely make it there at some point,
Yeah.
and we'll come
So
bug you.
yeah, totally. So you just released this amazing album. It's called Desire, Denial, and Paramania
Yes.
in October. I think it's right before Halloween. What a perfect time to release
Uh,
an album. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
That. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say yes. That album came out early October, or yeah, mid October, uh, and was my first release on the label Emergency Hearts. So yeah, I was very excited to put that one out. It's got a lot of sign history in it, and also shows the pathway to the next piece
Yeah.
of music. So
I actually featured, big shout out to Michelle at UTM Music. Yeah, so I did I love the particularly, so a lot of the songs in here, but I know you have Chris Connelly
Yes.
featured, that's a great track. It's called Desolate District.
Yes.
And you also have and I don't know if you saw my interview with Chris. I did interview him regarding the birthday poems with Monica
Oh, yeah.
Queen.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
yeah.
like last year sometime. Um, but he's in this track, which is a really good. And I saw the video. I think, did you do the video? Let me see here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Great. Yeah. Yeah.
I
It's
did
one
create the video, and that
good
was an
video.
interesting thing because, we were all in lockdown and all this. So I just had Chris send me some footage of himself. The dancer, they
Yeah.
sent
Amazing
me,
answer.
yes, they sent me their footage, and then I just filmed myself and then put it all together. So
Yeah.
that was
And
definitely the pandemic music video. Pandemic
true.
created.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything was on lockdown right at the time. Is that when you created all the songs for this one, when you wrote them?
Actually, the songs on the album are all just it's kind of a compilation from the
Mhm.
beginning of Sign until
Like a mixture. Yeah.
2020. Yeah, so it's like a catching up with Depeche Mode is the way I describe it. So it's kind of like catching up with Sign, but
Uh-huh.
but yeah, as far as like the songs, they were all written at different times, but none of them were really written during the lockdowns. You would think Desolate District was, but it was a coincidence. The music
Oh.
and everything was created before lockdowns and before the pandemic. So, and because Chris and I had talked about the collaboration in like November of 2019 when we saw
Oh.
each other when he was playing Pigface. Yeah, up in Chicago. So that's kind of where it all happened. But you know,
Oh. I was gonna ask you that next, and now you answer that.
yeah, it was a pure coincidence. And also, I have that second release called Injected.
Mm-hmm.
That one what came out in November 2019 as well. So that's a coincidence. And or when I created that little EP, I made the artwork to where the J and the J kind of looks like an F if you look at it. So it looks like
Mm-hmm.
injected, infected, and it's kind of
Yeah.
it's funny now because like, oh, but it's all purely coincidental.
Yeah, and the track by Curse is also in there.
Oh yes, drugs. I love
Drugs.
that song. Yeah, it's a really
Oh,
fun
yeah,
song. I
it's a
think
great
it's
song.
a favorite among people. So
Yeah, I mean, I know there's a history behind that song, right?
hmm?
What is that song about? Drugs?
Well, it's yeah, it's actually kind of a sarcastic, maybe fictional kind of account of someone who may be on the scene, but that's the person everyone gets drugs from, but like literally they
Oh,
only
yeah, yeah.
like you for your drugs. So
That's
it's like they think they're out on the scene, like, hey, I'm so popular. And then next thing you know, you think about it and go, oh, that's why they like me. So it's kind of a
oh,
funny and sarcastic way of looking at that kind of scenario. And I often tell people, I'm like, well, if you don't know someone like that, it might be you.
I know.
I'm
Yeah,
just
I
kidding.
mean, no, I totally can relate to. There are
Uh,
situations like that. If you've been in music and if you're like
oh
DJs
yeah,
and bartenders or anybody
that's
if you go
right.
to a club, I mean, that's just the lifestyle sometimes.
Yes, and it's kind of like I said, it kind of is a sarcastic, maybe
Mhm.
somewhat humorous, dark look at
Yeah.
the humans, and how we deal with each other in certain circumstances. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Yeah.
think a lot of my songs are like that, where I kind of just, I don't know, I don't want to say make fun of, but more of like, we can't take ourselves so seriously.
Yeah. Yeah. I
We're
think it's
some,
great. It's awesome.
yeah, we're some dark beings.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
And then you also have Jack Dangers as a part of this one as well. I think
yes.
Meat Beat Manifesto. How did that happen?
So that came through the label Emergency Hearts. Scott Crow's the owner, and he really liked the music that I had presented to him, and said, let's get you Meat Beat Manifesto remix on this. And of course, I didn't care what it sounded like. I didn't. I was just like, great, I'll take it. You know, that's quite the opportunity, and so very thankful for that, because I believe that Jack took the song and really elevated so
Yeah,
much. And
yeah,
it is a great track. I love it. It's awesome. So so yeah, that's how it happened, and it's
yeah.
one of my favorite remixes that I've gotten ever.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of amazing players in this album. And then there's a remix by Virtual Abilities
Yes,
by
virtual
Andy
realities. Yes.
Realities by Andee Blacksugar,
Oh yes,
the songwriter and guitarist, I believe, for KMFDM,
that's right.
and now Blondie. Yeah, wow.
Yes, Blondie too.
No,
Yeah.
wow. So that's
Yeah, that's a great one as well. And we didn't put that on the album, but we released it as a single. And
oh yeah,
I just liked the different take on it, you know, with the guitars. So I thought it was really awesome. And he said he had a lot of fun doing it, because the song didn't have a lot of structure to begin with. So he had some free reign.
So tell us about the record label, Emergency Hearts. I know if people want to check this out, they can find it there, or they can find it on your Bandcamp page as well.
That's right. Yeah, Emergency Hearts is from Austin, Texas, and run by Scott Crow. And, you know, they seem to really want to kind of curate things among some people that, you know, I guess are you know, like Meat Beat Manifesto and Front
Yeah,
242, and
2.2. Yeah, it's a
a lot
great.
of, yeah, a lot of these guys who are just kind of like I don't want to necessarily call them foundational, but you know what I mean. These are the people who really set the music, you know, tone. And
Yeah,
I feel that
definitely.
Scott has a love for that. And I love it too, because I get to learn a lot from my label mates. And also one of them, speaking of label mates, Mark Pistol, Consolidated, is also on the label, and he and I are collaborating on music. So it's been a lot of fun. Scott's really kind of, you know, crossed wires with me and everyone else on the label, and we're just kind of finding all these cool little pockets together. It's great.
That's emergencyhearts.com if anybody want to check the label out and all the music and amazing talents in there.
Yes.
Now, I'm just looking at your website. Like I mentioned earlier, you have a great site. I mean, if you want to, I mean, you are not only a musician, but you're also a visual artist. You've you you produced a video here for Darwin's song "Don't Tell a Soul."
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't even know that. I was just watching it. Wow, that's cool. Cool.
that was really fun. Yeah, I really love that. Uh, he just out of the blue asked, you know, hey, would you want to do a video for me? Sure.
Yeah, no, it's a great video. And then you also did some remix, for Lockdown by Acclaimed. You remixed
Yeah.
the Lockdown, that song. And then
Yeah.
you also did a video for Somewhat Possessed, Curses music as
Yep.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, if
And
anybody want to check.
Submerged too, for Curse. The video for Submerged.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was interesting here. You did this you produced a television segment for Villains Wear Black. Tell us
Mhm.
about that. It's a television series.
Yeah. Yeah. So that kind of happened because of the pandemic and all the shutdowns. I didn't originally plan to be a television producer or have shows on TV or anything. But what happened was I created Villains Wear Black as a Facebook group off of my band's page. So it was kind of a place that I wanted to post about cool things like really awesome hotels and cool restaurants and music events and arts and everything, but all in this kind of darker realm. that's not necessarily like goth or industrial. It's basically just people who are fans of that kind of darker aesthetic of life, I suppose. So anyway, I created that group, and I thought it would be fun to create live events out of it, and basically have it to where I could do it in multiple cities, and we would have different bands or vendors, or it would just kind of be like, you know, everybody dresses in black, and, you know, it's very elegant and everything. So I started doing it in Austin. The very first event happened in February of 2020. So we got that one under the wire before the shutdowns. So what happened was it just kind of, you know, blew the plans for what I wanted to make these events. And so my next move was to try something different, because I saw friends and other bands online talking about their canceled shows and how sad they were, and they had no place to play, and people were starting to lose their feel for music, you know, because it was just so stifling. So I just wanted to create an outlet that people could express themselves again, and that was the television series. I joined the producer program in Austin and started to learn about how to do a series. And then I applied for the series and got it the first time. And that's when I started to compile, you know, and I got videos from friends and bands that I was fans of. And it just kind of grew from there. And I ended up doing 2 seasons. There were probably, I would say, about 100 bands that participated across the world. I mean, everyone from local little me all the way up to Martin Gore. Yes, like I got his solo videos and stuff. So many great artists. Gary Newman participated. Who else participated? Dave Gahan with I mean,
yeah,
it was so much more than I ever thought. And of course, Curse was here to help with production and making connects. And we tried to do an interview segment kind of like this, but it was very hard to edit, to do an hourly show a week. You know how it is sometimes with that. It just takes a lot of time to edit.
No, yeah, totally.
Yeah, so that
you don't sleep.
I know it, believe me. I know I had that same thing for 2 seasons. I did an hour a week and gathering and editing. So it was just my life. Like I was literally just on my computer all the time, rendering and doing things, putting titles and everything and putting all the details in. But I loved it. It was successful. I think it made some people happy. It certainly turned people onto other bands, which that was the main point.
Yeah.
You know, was to show people other talents and bands and things, because there's room for everybody. Okay. You know,
Totally.
So that was the reason why I did it. And I would bring it back again.
You know, I was looking at this one in particular. It's the artist profile. This artist, he does this little I don't know. I guess
figurines.
Yeah.
Yes, that's his name is Juha Arvid Helmanen.
Yeah.
And he is truly cool. I mean,
know.
Invisible Empire. Go look up Invisible Empire by Juha Arvid Helmanen. So cool.
I know. You know, I was looking at I don't know if those are people, and then there are people, and then he makes the little figurines, right?
Yeah. And he started doing those figurines because originally he does photographs, but because of the pandemic and everything started to shut down, he couldn't go do photo shoots anymore. So he started doing these figurines, and now he makes tons of them, and collectors buy them. It's incredible.
I was blown away. Yeah, I mean, I like those kind of things. They're so they look like they're so fun to do, you know. But I know it takes it's like takes very talented and all the,
Yeah.
painting and just putting that together. So
Yeah. And I love the black on black thing that he has going on in
yeah,
his picture. Just so cool. Way cool.
no, very, very cool. Yeah, well, I hope this, I hope you continue to do more of the television, these production work that you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At some point I would like to bring it back because it's fun. I love seeing music videos,
Mhm.
I mean, I kind of missed that, and I thought it was awesome that I could just put something together, and because it was my show, I could do whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm so glad you put this all in your website. Yeah, so I'm so glad we can talk a little bit about this. Yeah, well, you're I'll be sure to feature your music on the show on Snap Radio. Yeah, I'm so glad to have you. Is there anything going on? I mean, anything new that you have in the works?
yeah, actually, what's coming up next is I have a new EP trilogy that's called Mantis. So we'll be releasing a new single off of Mantis 1 coming up probably, it was going to be end of January, but it looks like it's going to be February. I feel like, we're in the time of pushbacks.
I know.
Everything keeps getting pushed
So
back.
tired of it. Oh man, I'm just so tired of it.
Me too.
I think
I'm just
everybody
like,
is like,
I
so
know.
that's an EP then? That's an EP coming out first? Okay.
Yes, there's going to be 3 of them actually. So rather than put out a full length, we're putting out 3 EPs, and each one will kind of have its own deal to it, but they all go together.
Mhm.
So that's kind of the next thing coming up, and currently working on the music video. Hopefully we'll have it done by the time the single comes out and we can release it together. So, and also we've got tons of remixes that we're going to release also.
Okay.
So
Oh wow.
yeah, we're working on this kind of plan that goes from, anywhere from 9 months to a year, so
So
there's a lot of planning going on. But also, like I said, there's new music happening that I'm working with Mark Pistol on,
Mhm.
and other collaborations that I can talk about later on, but it's pretty fun. Yeah.
Wow. So so your website, you have several. I want to make sure I got the right one. RonaRougeheart.com.
Yes, it's Rouge. It's Rona, Rona, Rouge like red, Rouge.
Okay.
Heart.
Rougeheart. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Rougeheart.com.
Yes, that's my website.
And
And
then
then,
sign.
yes,
And then
sign.band.
sign.band. And then there's another one. Rougehearts.com.
Yes, rougehearts.com is my store.
Oh, it's a
So
yeah.
what I have there is it's not just sign merch, it's actually clothing and designs that I make myself. And eventually I'll start adding a few more items, but it's kind of like my creative hub. I also sell my artwork there too. So
Oh, okay. Okay.
it's like all things I make.
That's awesome. And then of course your Bandcamp page, which is signofficial.bandcamp.com.
That's right. Yeah.
All right.
And then
Wow,
if anyone, and do you mind if I mention one more?
sure, of course.
Okay. Since we have so many websites now, Well, I have a Patreon as well, and that's at Rona Rougeheart on Patreon.
Okay, Rona. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Wow.
that's where I release all of my secrets.
All the secrets. If anybody wants a secret, go to that site.
Go there.
Well, thank you for joining me. Thank you for
Thank
having. Thank you
you.
for coming on the show and telling us all about this amazing stuff you're doing. And we look forward to more.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I'm honored to be on your show. I mean, you're a legend.
Oh, thank you. Well, tell Curse I said hello and everyone. Okay, and
Yes,
then hopefully we'll meet up again in the next live concert somewhere.
I know it. Either that or I'll see you in Hawaii.
I know. There you go. Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
start booking.
Yeah, I know, right? Got to get on it now.
Okay. I'm gonna stop the recording here, but
Okay.
no, stay with it for this second. All right. Thank you. Thank you for joining me.